Most channels buy something to flip, and that's the last you see of it. But not here. We're gonna do this completely different. We're hitting yard sales, flea markets, discount stores, antique shops, anywhere that you can think of that we can find an item that we think we can make a profit on. Here's the twist. When we find something, we're selling it. Same video, auction format, $1 starts. Meaning you'll get to see how much money we made in the same video you saw us pick the items up in. No matter what we pay, it's starting at $1. High risk, high reward for your entertainment. To make it even more challenging, we're not using any tools to help us. No looking up eBay comps, no seeing what stuff goes for. This is entirely gut instinct. If we think it should sell for more than what it's at, we're gonna buy the item. Will we make a ton of money, or will we be left with a ton of stuff we can't sell? That's the fun of the show. So get ready, because the picks are risky, the stakes are high, and the profits, well, I don't know, that's kind of just up to us and our skill set. We're calling it pick and pray, because we're gonna pick stuff and then just really pray and hope it sells for more than we paid for it. It's 7:45 a.m. I have absolutely no sleep, but like a true guy, we're up, going yard sailing, trying to find cool stuff that we can flip for online profits. We started the morning driving through the beautiful countryside, following a big green sign that we saw that said that there was an awesome yard sale with all kinds of good stuff listed on the sign. Unfortunately, that was the only information listed on the sign. I think we're about ready to quit on this one, because like we've just been driving for 20 minutes and they're like, what time is the yard sale? You don't need to know that. Where's it at? You also don't need to know that. What date? You also don't need to know that. Like, what do we have to know? Why do you make it so complicated? Oh well, I guess we'll just go to the next one. Wasn't the best start to the morning, but that's the reality of it sometimes.
We finally made it to the first sale. This is like a multi-family all gathered at a church, which is usually pretty good. Hopefully there's a decent amount of tables here.
So the one thing I never want to see when you first pull up to a yard sale is just a bunch of little kids and baby stuff, which unfortunately makes up a very large percentage of yard sales. Nothing there. Went to the next table, and this one was the next thing you don't want to see at yard sales, and that's a bunch of pre-owned clothes. Great if you need clothes, good deals, but for flipping stuff, not really our thing. So we went over to the next table, and it just seemed to be just a pattern of clothes, baby stuff, until we found some old vintage McDonald's toys at one table, but the prices they were asking are about what I think we'd be able to get for them, so obviously it's not really worth for us. The same table also had some Legos, but again, the prices they were asking is what I think we'd be able to get for them, so it's just not worth the resale value. Even though it was a nice big church yard sale, definitely a strikeout. We'd already put together a list of yard sales that we'd found the day prior on Facebook Marketplace, so we just packed up, got in the van, and headed to the next one.
So this one address right here led us to, it looks like 3 that we see on this road, so we'll see if it's just these 3 or some more.
At the first yard sale was basically a bunch of household stuff and glass and breakable things that didn't have a high value, so we didn't grab anything at this one. At the next yard sale next door, we finally made our first picks of the day and grabbed these brand new fishing reels with their boxes, along with all these NASCARs and this one goofy one for a very good price that I think there's quite a good profit margin on.
There's 5.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys have a good one.
Yes, ma'am. You too.
I may not have eBay sold comps, but I have this little genius here, which is way better. The next yard sale was quite a bit bigger than that. A lot of this stuff was just stuff that we weren't interested in, but in the back table we did find these little like sewing buddy type things. They're basically plushies with a giant ball of yarn that you can stitch the yarn into a blanket, and then it has the plushie attached to it, which I thought was cool and unique and something our audience would like. So we bought all of those for a good price, and then as we were checking out, we noticed this very nice porcelain church that was still in its original box, which I thought was cool, so we grabbed all that from this yard sale. Those yard sales were actually pretty good. I think we got some good deals there. Definitely some good profit to be made on what we found there.
Now we are going to a flea market, one that we haven't gone to in a long time, but it was kind of on the way, so we're definitely gonna hit it. A lot of activity, a lot of tables.
Holy crap.
It's packed. Let's go see what we can find.
So we got out and started looking at the flea market, and one thing you'll notice about flea markets is there's 2 kind of people there. 1, the people that just want to get rid of stuff, those are the ones you want to find. But 2, there's also a lot of professionals that do this full time here. They have their stuff, they know what it's worth, and the margins are basically non-existent because they're not trying to sell to another seller, they're trying to sell to the end user and get the most for their stuff. Usually those kind of people, you're not going to really be able to get flippable items unless you're buying something in bulk, so we really got to look for the good deals. One thing I like to look for is people that have bulk of something similar, like these Star Wars figures, for example. They're old, they're valuable, I would think, and there's a lot of them in this box, so more than likely when they have this many of something, they're more likely to give you a bulk deal for all of them instead of just buying 1 or 2. I knew I could take these, I could piece these out into lots of 2 or 3, and we can make some good money on them if this guy was willing to budge on his price a little bit.
That one's sealed. That one's sealed. Most of these are sealed, so.
As we walked around this guy's setup more, we also found these vintage Avon vehicles, and most of them were in box. And again, he had a huge box full of them, so we were gonna try to combine the two to get one bulk price for both the Star Wars and the vehicles.
I guess my first question would be for the Star Wars box. There's about 30 boxes in there. Would you do 40 for the whole box?
I do 50 if it's 30. That's less than what I would like.
Yeah, no, I got you. And so all these cars in that box for 50 bucks, and I can get the Star Wars stuff for 50.
Yeah, everything. See, everything's in them
Okay.
too.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll do it.
So we ended up paying $100 for the box of the vintage Star Wars figures and 2 boxes of the vintage Avon vehicles, which I thought was a good deal, and there's enough room in there for us to make something on it for sure. At the next table, I saw this handheld Harley Davidson game I'd never seen before, and the fact that I'd never seen it, 6 years buying storage units and it's Harley, I figured we should just take the chance and grab it. A few tables down, we saw these vintage poster puzzles, which I figured they were only $2 a piece. We'd be able to make something on. We ended up staying at this flea market for another hour and a half. We bought a bunch of salt and pepper shakers that were vintage. We bought a bunch of crystals and rocks. We bought a bunch of knives. We bought a bag of jewelry. We ended up spending several $100s here, but it was really cool, and I think we got a lot of good deals that we're gonna make a lot of good money on. We also went to a ton of antique shops, but that was unfortunately right before we came up with the idea for this video series, so we didn't film it. But I did get a bunch of quarter sets like this, proof sets at a really good price. I mean, still paid up for them, but I think we can still make profit on them. And we got a bunch of these silver plated presidential spoon sets. Every single one has designs on it and the president's name on them. Got these at a decent price again. Paid a little up for them, but I think we can make some money on them. In the end, we spent a grand total of $673 from all the yard sales, flea markets, stores, and everywhere else we went. Now it's time to sell all this stuff and see if we can at least double our money. Let's do it. What is up, everybody? We are here and we are live with 96 lots of awesomeness. So we started running every single item starting at just $1, just like we said we would, and we sold 96 lots of awesomeness on our Whatnot auction. Every time we do these auctions, we're gonna be selling every item through Whatnot. So if you're not on Whatnot, use our link on screen to sign up, get you free $15, and then look us up at THW Jebus, because you never know what crazy stuff we're gonna find, and it all starts at $1. It took us about an hour and a half to sell every single item that we had and get our numbers in. Let's see how we did. So we had some items we did really good on, some items that we about broke even on, and some items that we did lose a little bit of money on, but we're only going to be looking at the totals because that's all that matters, is the total spent versus the total brought in. Let's do it. Here we are in the background of our Whatnot show. So as you can see, we sold 183 items. After all fees, we earned $2,924.99, which is just absolutely insane. That puts the total profit for the first episode of this series at $2,251.99. We're gonna keep track of it on this whiteboard and see if we can reach a crazy goal of $100,000 in 1 year. Let's see if it's possible. Now that you see the concept, let us know what you think about it. The next auction for the second episode of that is going to be this evening on Whatnot. Make sure you're signed up. Make sure you come check it out. It's gonna be a ton of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.